Peace and blessings is real. First and foremost, I want to take this time and give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh through his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shah, for allowing his word to come out. And I hope you sincere brothers and sisters is edified by this word. And the name of the lesson is called Sign of the End Times, Biblical News, Volume 224. And in this edition, we're going to call this Ahmaud Arbery, Murder, Reminiscing of Travon Martin. All right, everybody, that was not in a coma knows about the George Zimmerman murder of Travon Martin. Okay, what we have with the murder of Ahmaud Arbery is a reminiscing of that tragedy. Okay, you've heard the term lightning striking twice. Well, lightning has struck twice, man. The same type of tragedy that happened with Travon Martin has happened with Ahmaud Arbery, who you see on the left-hand side of the screen, by the hands of the two men, the so-called white men, the father and son on the right-hand side of the screen. Okay, the similarities of these cases is simple. You have a so-called white man murdering a so-called black. And that was George Zimmerman murdering Travon Martin years ago. And then, here we go again. Similar circumstances, similar outcomes as of right now. I named this the sign of the end times because this is just a clear sign that a so-called black man can be murdered by a so-called white man and to be justified. This ain't about race. This ain't about prejudice. This is about facts. This is about facts. And the facts remains that if you're a so-called black man and you get murdered by a so-called white man, more than likely, they're going to get away with it as being justifiable. But if you turn it around and you see a so-called black man murder a so-called white man, they're going to throw him under the jail. You see? But what I want to speak on this case, man, because a lot of people may have heard of this, may have not heard of this, man, but this is a very interesting situation, man. As of today, no arrests have been made on this case, if you can believe that. They know who's responsible for killing this man, but no arrest has been made as of today, man. Now, as the investigation unfolds, Ahmaud Arbery was spotted at a home under construction prior to the confrontation taking place. All right, that's very important that we point that out. He was spotted at a home under construction. Okay. Then 911 calls were made for a potential break-in situation. And at the same time, you had Ahmaud running down the street. Okay. Now, at this point, Ahmaud is described as someone resembling the break-in suspect of this particular neighborhood. And he was spotted by Gregory Michael, the father, on the right-hand side, along with his son, Travis Michael. Gregory Michael, along with his son, Travis Michael. All right. They saw Ahmaud running down the street, and they described him as someone resembling the break-in suspect that had been breaking into houses in that area of recent. And Mr. Gregory Michael and his son, Travis Michael, grabbed a shotgun and a pistol and pursued Ahmaud. And an alleged struggle took place by way of Ahmaud taking violence against these two men. And eventually, Ahmaud was shot twice and killed by Travis. It's a lot wrong with this story. It's a whole lot wrong with this. And again, it's reminiscent of the George Zimmerman. Everybody know the story. Travon Martin was minding his own business, and George Zimmerman picked him out to look like someone that was suspicious with a hoodie on his head. He pursued the boy. He pursued Travon, and eventually they got into it, and Travon was shot by this guy, and he pretty much got away scot-free with that. And this is exactly what we have going on in this case here, man. And the thing about it, Travis, okay, according to prosecution, Travis, which is the son, they said by him shooting and killing Ahmaud Arbery, he acted out of self-defense, okay, being supported by the Georgia Citizens Arrest Statute. You see that? Same situation, man, similar to the George Zimmerman over Travon Martin. Okay, he acted in self-defense. Well, this is the thing I don't understand. Dude, if you saw this man resembling the break-in suspect, why didn't you simply just call the police? You saw this man and you pursued this man. So the fact that you saw him and pursued him, you had other things on your mind other than him going to jail. You took the law in your own hands and you used the Georgia Citizen Arrest Statute as a reason to be a hero, at the same time be a killer, man, and have it justified. As of today, no indictments have been handed down to the father and son because the father is a friend of the program, aka the father is a former investigator for the same office that's prosecuting this murder case of Ahmaud Arbery. You see that? Friends of the program, man. And nobody has said a word. When it comes to murder, man, Leviticus 24:17, it tells you whoever takes a human life shall be put to death, man. Okay, this so-called white boy, Travis Michael, hey, man, he's going to have to answer to what he's done. See, in the eyes of the Lord, man, looks at it different than the eyes of the law. You dig? One of the 10 Commandments told you, man, in Exodus 20:13, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not murder. There was no reason to even get in a confrontation with Ahmaud Arbery. All you have to do is call the police, man. That's it. Let them handle that. In Matthew 5:21, it speaks about those who commit murder will be liable to judgment. So even though no indictments has been handed down to the father and son, but guess what, man? You're going to be judged for the action that you did. And everybody with a brain know good and well this was not an act of self-defense. This was an act of blatant murder. Cold-blooded, man. In Deuteronomy 16:20, it tells you to follow justice and justice alone. And they took justice in their own hand. They took this matter in their own hands, man. And because of that, you have a woman that have lost her son. Okay. I mean, it's just a shame that you, even to this day, so-called blacks are profiled differently than any other ethnicity, any other group, man. The common thing when it comes to so-called blacks is we all look alike. You see? How is it that Ahmaud Arbery just so happened to be described as resembling the break-in suspect? How did you even know what the break-in suspect looked like to say it resembled Ahmaud Arbery? There's no reports, there's nothing that was filed that states that someone of Ahmaud's description was already committing these crimes, and then just so happened he's about to strike another house and there he is right there. Makes no sense, man. When the father and son saw this man, they should have called the police and told them the location or the direction that this guy was going and left it alone. But they took matters in their own hands and have not been charged, have not been arrested, have not been charged, have not been indicted. Now tell me that ain't cold-blooded, man. Like I said, if you're a so-called white man and Jake look like he's somebody that might be a problem, you can engage with him. You can even provoke him to be violent towards you just so you can have a reason to shoot him and kill him, man. Now, if that ain't the sign of the end times, man, I don't know what is, man. What's the name of the lesson? Sign of the End Times, Biblical News, volume 224. Ahmaud Arbery murder, reminiscing of Travon Martin, man. And this is just one of many cases that have happened that nobody hear about, or they really don't want to shed light on the situation, man. But it's unfortunate, man, but this is where we at. You know, racial profiling it still exists. And if you're a so-called black man, you're going to be under scrutiny behind the wheel. You're going to be under scrutiny even when you're out in public, man. You got to always be mindful and observant and just look at what's going on out here, man. It was a cold-blooded murder and no arrests or indictments have been made out on this case, man. But could you imagine if it was a so-called black man that killed the so-called white man thinking that he was a suspect? There's no way they would have said that the black man, acted in self-defense. No, they would have said it was premeditated, man. Cold-blooded. I hope you sincere. Brothers and sisters was edified by this word. And we give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh through his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, for allowing this word to come out. Shalom.